My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise-canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise-canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Okay, so while that last video uploads to YouTube, I currently record this one here, and tell you, I forgot to zip my fly, so taking care of that. I say that kind of come on here, do a little thing or two just to finish, just to do another little step or two to these guys, because it's going to be quite a while before they're finished. We have quite a number of steps left to go, so I might kind of turn this down a little bit, let y'all see a little more what I do, and I say that we might kind of start to try to work along the skirt, because to the best of my memory, that was probably maybe the next step they told you to take in the book, so I think I'm going to kind of work about that, kind of get started on that here, and we're going to do this little challenge here just to kind of see how much work we can do, how far this stuff can go, where it can take us, where we can take it. I'd like to also say that with the money I've been saving up, there is a John C. Campbell Folk School out somewhere in North Carolina. My parents were showing me the catalog. They were thinking about taking me there sometime, maybe to consider trying to attend some classes, maybe. So we're going to look into that probably over the summer while school is out, maybe. That would kind of be the best time for us to go, we think. And just, well, you know, I'd say we probably saved up enough money to do it, so all we really have to do is probably find the time, see how it's going to work out, because there's going to be some things we're going to find out just how to do and get down to them sooner or later. So I'd say that the work is going to be fine and dandy, so much interesting little things I'll learn how to do, and maybe when I come back I'll have a little something to share for you all. I mean, I'd say that I don't know whether or not they're going to let me have anything in there with which they're going to let me record or put anything on social media or anything, so we just kind of have to wait and see how that goes. But I'd say that perhaps I might kind of get a little bit better at technology, try learning to use my phone and my tablet to do a few, like some other things on some other sites. And I'd say I've heard all the nice little stories on the internet about just all the adventures that other figures have had and places they've been, things they've done. I tell y'all that this is just one little thing after another where we kind of get a little work done along the way. I'd say that I don't know how many steps we're going to accomplish all the way in a video, but sometimes as the videos upload, as they're being uploaded to Amazon Photos, which is the first step from the tablet, and then downloaded from Amazon Photos to my computer, and get the intro and outro put on them on the computer before they're uploaded to YouTube. That's kind of the moment when, during that upload, I'll kind of finish up the little steps and take them so that we get a little further about them. I tell you, my poor little niece, she can't understand what all I do. I mean, I'd be telling her about all I'd be recording on video and how it gets uploaded, but I'm often told she can't understand that stuff yet. You know, sometimes, just sometimes, it just takes little moments for their minds to develop a little bit, because it'll kind of happen a little bit more as they grow older, but you just kind of have to be patient with them because they got a lot to learn. I will tell you all, this is the little genuine mahogany Santa I'm doing right now, and I've got little other kind of steps to take along just to kind of get this a little bit further into the act, and then again kind of just round things off a little bit, kind of work a little bit around the whole skirt area here. I say that there's a little area up here where we also work around and kind of take this much off right underneath the sleeves. I probably have some big gouges I could be doing it with, but I'd just about prefer a knife sometimes, just to be kind of doing it for video. I mean, I'd probably kind of use the gouges if I wasn't recording, because that way I can kind of put a little concentration into using them and not cutting myself. But as for how we go about this, I say that this is just a little ways we take a little craft now and then, just to kind of see how a little great work can do a great little trick, I say. And I tell people these days, when I get these follows from these random girls on Instagram, that I don't have a lot of money. Not on there to look for no relationships. I'd tell you, even if I had a lot of money, probably would be single anyway. I'd be getting on that. Even if I did start making a lot, I'd start coming on and saying that nobody wanted to date me when I didn't make a lot of money. So I'd tell you, nobody's going to when I am, for sure. So I kind of take little work and make things the way I do and see how things come along. And I tell y'all that there's probably no telling how far I could get as a wood carver in life, but I'd say for where I am, I'm kind of happy right now. Probably don't gain a lot of audience, but I'd say there's a lot of things you don't want to take too fast. You know, if you just kind of get into a billionaire's shoes overnight, I learned from those videos that you don't really learn how to handle it all just right away. It kind of ends up being a little struggle, because there was this one common guy who, in this one video I watched, who bullied this billionaire because he was rich, and the millionaire said, "Oh, how about we trade places for a day?" And the young man, who wasn't so experienced in business, did try to take his place for a day, and found out how much trouble it was to keep up with all the business matters, and about how much the man himself did not achieve overnight, how hard he had to work for it all. Because this is what I say it comes down to when we have a little work and ethic, and I say that just a little kindness to show in the world is probably about all we really need, because I got really strong hands to do this kind of work, and only kind of appreciate so much recognition. And I'd say, you know, in life there's different levels of fame. I've talked to you on videos before about Sarah Listy of Tool Girl's Garage and how that sometimes I commented on one of her videos telling her how lucky she was to be as famous as she was, and, you know, just how with all my work I could never get there. And she said, oh, I'm far from famous, but I'm blessed for sure. I worked so hard to get there. I say, you know, and that's just another thing where it all comes into perspective. She might not be famous from her own perspective, but from my perspective, she is. So it's all just a matter of just how many followers you can get. And sometimes I just think that there's people who kind of, you know, can get the kind of attention they can because of how photogenic they are, because of how friendly they are. I can't always be one of the friendliest people you'd ever know. That would be a hard task for me, and I tell you, I don't like getting my picture taken, so I look serious when I do, except for just depending on who I'm getting it done for. If people insist that I put on a big grin that I don't feel, I do it. But I tell you, you know, when it comes to my family, I mean, they're used to me looking serious all the time in the house and around family gatherings, so they let me look serious for a picture. That's kind of just, I say, how it all goes. And to think one thing, you know, about Andrea Ritchie, who is on social media as Shake Andy Bake, and kind of does that little cosmetics thing she does. You know, when I first started chatting with her online, talking to her about faces and all, just replying to her stories, talking about looking serious, and she replied to me saying, I think that's your signature look. So I say for me it pretty much is, because I have so much to concentrate on in life, so much to do, and I'd say maybe it's just my personality, maybe something I inherited from my dad, because, you know, from the way he always looked serious when he was so young, people thought he was mean to my mom, but he wasn't. I'd say, as for a little time and effort, this is how far we come. Might just kind of do a little more steps on one or two more. Probably kind of take a little bit into this African mahogany one. Take a little step or two, a little step of faith here and there. Kind of make it so it's going to be a big character to have around. And so I say that we just kind of got the little place where we make that little hem and the garment, and kind of got to work it up the rest of the way. It's going to take a little time and take a little effort, but it's just a place where we're going to eventually be. And I say that this is just simple work for someone with strong hands, for someone who loves to do it. And I mean, I'd say that this was something that pretty much relaxed me from the time I started doing it, when I started carving in '08, which was, you know, not too many months before I had my bandsaw accident. I mean, I loved carving so much that even though the doctors told me not to do it until my thumb healed up, I insisted on putting so much extra bandage around my thumb to protect it that I just wanted to carve anyway, so I couldn't stop just because that was what they told me there. So it was just kind of the thing I work about and make about, and I'd say there's been different kinds of woods I've tried over the years. Started out with basswood, and on the very first thing I ever carved, and then I'd say we had a plum tree cut down in the yard, and I started using plum wood to carve some things from that. And I say that I just had so much scrap wood for years, and these days I just kind of buy wood that's a little more better useful, because I'd say all that wood I used to pick up from the side of the road and from trees in the yard, it would dry out, it would crack, and sometimes, just sometimes, I'd say it kind of got to the point where it became no more than just my practice wood. But I've had plenty of practice and skill and experience since then, so don't really have to save up all that other wood. Times in my life I've even tried to carve oak and maple before, but they were pretty much hard woods, not the best woods to be trying to carve. You know, I even talked to the guys about birch before, and then I find out it was just a little too hard to carve. But I'll tell you one other thing I thought about was even locusts, to that matter. I've carved things out of locusts before, and sometimes I just enjoyed the feel in my hands. But, you know, when I tried to carve something out of locusts that was about as detailed as one of these Santas, I mean, it kind of ended up going well. The wood was so hard that even though my hands were so strong, I ended up chipping the point off of the knife. So those were the days I was always young and wanting to try new things, wanting to try things that people didn't suggest, and have my adventures with everything. So that was the day when I tried to carve a little locust here and there, and I'd say I even carved a bowl from it, but never sold the bowl, just kind of used the bowl for my own displays to kind of keep things in that were going to be displayed and put out on tables and racks and shelves to be sold, and just kind of a little work going into a little project in life. And I say that we get strong as we can be, just making things a little more each day, seeing just how good a strength we can get in our hands. Because there were the days I did a whole lot more. There were the days I lifted weights at the gym. I don't do it often enough these days to really be strong at it. I might occasionally do it when I'm under a lot of anxiety and stress and really need to somehow get the frustration out, but these days it just helps me so much better that I can stay so much stronger and do so much more just to kind of make a little happy world, happy place, I say. Oh, all the people in life who can really mean the most with what they say and do. Oh, the times in our lives we share, all the good times. That's what we kind of have to remember the most, is the good times, because we can always hope they can outweigh the bad. Sometimes that's the thing I struggle with in life. Think too much of the bad times and kind of get away from the good, so it'll just be a little flashback reminder thing now and then. So just a little thing to kind of keep us happy and all. So I say that this is just a world where we kind of see that everything comes and goes for a certain reason, and I say that a little hyperactivity might have done us a little good now and then, and how we kind of make things happen for the better or the worse, and everything that goes on in life, God makes it all work together for good, which is what that verse whose reference you see on the cap I wear in some of the videos says. So I say we're working along this guy, trying to get more extra wood removed, and hopefully we'll come to another video and kind of round off the hymn a little more. But this is what we kind of do for this very moment, kind of try to get rid of this excess wood and kind of take a little off the belly and the below the waist and all. So I say that this is just a time when a little effort in life is what we need. I mean, there's times when will get better at things the longer we work at them. Some people who probably taught me a few things about carving probably didn't live to see me get as good as I feel like I've gotten lately, but even for my first few months of doing it, they would watch me and see how further along I was coming, and they would just say to me, "You are getting too good at it." So there's just little practices we have in our life. Practice makes perfect sometimes, and I'd say nothing in life is perfect in every way, but you know, you can kind of be a professional at something if it's your best talent and you can apply yourself to it and just see how strong and able and agile you can get. So I'd say it might be the moment when we almost come to the end, haven't said as much as we need to for a whole video's time. We'll just kind of mention maybe that this piece of African mahogany kind of was a little bit off in the grain, maybe having places where it's not carving as well as it otherwise could because maybe the grain is a little different in the shape than we thought it was. And I'd say that we're going to work along this a little more, kind of have these little things to do where we make these videos. And even though I might go a little bit over the time limit, I just want to say again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.